welcome back to that Really Swell Podcast. My name is Julie. I'm your host. I'm here with my good friend and co-host Alex, also known as Mr. Maker Mouse. Alex, say hi to the people.
It's a special day, so I'm just going
Why?
to say family.
Today's magic word is family, and we're going to be continuing our second season of Up and Comings, and we're going to talk about
Family.
family. And by family, I mean we're going to head over to Universal Studios Hollywood. We're going to the West Coast today for what seems like the first time ever. I don't know if we've ever done West Coast on the show.
We've mentioned it. We've mentioned it. Oops. Phone is on. We've mentioned it, but we have never talked about it.
All right. Well, today's going to be a first. We're dedicating a whole show to the West Coast, specifically Universal Studios Hollywood. But before we get into that, how's your day?
It's fine. I'm just turning off the audio on my cell phone because you're.
Okay, you should have done that before
I
we
know,
started
but it
recording.
was actually it's your fault. It's your text reply just came in.
It's my fault. Do you have an Android?
Yes.
It's your fault. All right. So if you're new to the show, welcome. We're happy to have you. If you're a returning listener slash watcher, welcome back. This one is going to be an interesting show topic. Not up my alley, but we want to bring you guys all the news, whether we are very fond of it or not very fond of it.
Oh, I thought you were saying we're going to bring news and weather. I'm like, what?
No, theme park news and entertainment. We are the
Weather or not? You said
what?
weather. You said weather. I thought you were talking about we're gonna do like.
Like the sun is shining. Okay, no. Apparently it's still too early for Alex. All right, so let's go back. Let me just figure out what I'm saying here because I get thrown off by you every single show. You throw me off task here. Okay, back to topic. We're heading to the West Coast, Universal Studios Hollywood, and we're going to be discussing a rumored attraction. This attraction is not set in stone. It's rumored, lots of hearsay. I believe there's public knowledge of the fact that there's going to be a roller coaster, but as far as the theming, it's going to be themed after family.
Family.
And by family, we mean it's going to be themed after the franchise Fast and the Furious. So let's get into it.
But before we do,
Mm-hmm.
I don't have friends. I got family.
Whether it be TV, film, or gaming, the concept for rides and attractions starts here. Oh man, I'm gonna have to play that song later. All right, that's the concept. So back in 2001, the Fast and Furious movie was released. So this movie, apparently there's a demographic. It did very, very well. I think did you see the movie, the first one?
I've seen all of them.
You've seen all of them?
Yes.
Like all,
Wait,
all.
except for Tokyo Drift, but I've seen all the rest.
Okay. You're gonna have to probably like interject in this show a lot because I've only seen bits and pieces of the first one.
Bits and pieces.
Yeah, not even the whole thing. I
Come
think I was
on.
probably in the kitchen getting a snack while somebody else was playing it, and I just walked through the
You
living
don't
room at it.
walk away from family.
I've seen portions of the first one, but not enough to actually remember it in detail. I know there was a lot of racing.
Well, I can't say I'll remember them in detail either because they all blur into
They
one.
blend into one. Yeah, so the Fast and Furious movie and a few of them after that first one mainly focused on illegal street racing. So that was the premise of the first few movies. And then so there are, if I'm not mistaken, 11 Fast and the Furious movies, I believe. And by Fast Five, it went from illegal street racing to heists and spying. And that sounds like a little bit more up my alley. So I think that I should actually start watching them from Fast Five.
Well, what you have to do is when you go and watch them, just like understand physics don't matter, logic doesn't matter, gravity, don't know how to spell it, dialogue, please.
Oh wow!
Just get some popcorn and enjoy the ride, literally.
Why am I watching this
Because
movie?
it's stupid fun. That's it.
Okay. Well, apparently it is fun because there are about 11 movies and even more stuff that we're going to get into in a little bit. Um, Plus, I think there's a 12th one coming out. Fast X will be releasing this year
Well,
on May 19th.
X would be 10.
But there are 11 movies.
Are you sure
I
about
think I'm
that?
counting the one with The Rock. Because there's like the franchise and
The spin-off?
there's like a spin-off, yeah.
All right, well,
So I think I might be counting that one.
okay.
Whatever. If I'm wrong, just
I mean,
comment.
it's not really in the same. That one is actually more of a pure action movie. It just says presented by, or Fast and Furious, presented by Fast and Furious, something like that. But it's not really a
Oh,
car racing movie.
no, that one. And that one's actually one that I was interested in seeing, but I never got around to see it. So it is Fast and Furious presents Hobbs and Shaw.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, I actually wanted to see that one because it has Rock. So I wanted to see it. But I never got around to it. That one looked like it was more and I'm not into like all the cars and the street racing and stuff like that. I do like the idea of heist and spying and things, that if that's what some of the movies are about, then those I will see.
But I mean, they. Not that I'm trying to defend it. Sounds like I'm trying to defend it, but they do tend to be more than just about the racing. Even the first one. I
Oh,
mean,
there's a lot of women in there too.
no, that's not what I meant. It's
Oh,
the,
okay.
well, you saw part of the first, and I cannot possibly be spoiling this for anybody, but Paul Walker is an undercover cop, and he's trying to break into the illegal racetracking syndicate, circuit, ring, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So it's about, it has that little side story about the investigation. They just put the cherry on the top with the racing and the ladies.
I mean, and the ladies, the ladies are also a cherry on top, apparently. I don't
Yeah.
know. I think I might start at Fast Five if that's where they start transitioning the whole
Well, that's
concept
just where
of.
it gets just ridiculous. You've got to watch the
Uh,
first one to understand how
I mean,
ridiculous
it's
this
so many
turned.
hours. Like if I was going to do a marathon, I'd be there all day.
Yeah,
I can't. I don't know. We'll see what happens. We'll see if I'm like cleaning the house and I want to put something on
you
for
you
background.
have to follow. You know why I like it so much? It's not about the racing. It's like if you take all of Star Wars, the original films, not the
Hmm.
not the last three. If you take the
Hmm.
all of those, I'd say that whole franchise is about Obi-Wan Kenobi. But it's not.
Okay.
It's about Luke Skywalker. But for me, it's about Obi-Wan Kenobi and how he's the coolest. So this one for me, it's like it's not about the cars. It's about the legend of Dom Toretto. He's like an unstoppable force.
Mm.
He's like Chuck Norris status. It's
Are you
ridiculous.
fangirling right
No,
now?
no, no. It's
I think
just
you're fangirling right
the way
now.
they did it. It's
I see
just
little hearts above your head.
shut up, because now you know I have to put that in.
I know. That's why I said
It's just the way they present the character. He's unstoppable, and it's ridiculous. Like you can't stop the guy. I mean, I expect in the next movie they'll shoot. Well, never mind. I was going to say they were going to shoot him with a gun, and the bullets fly away, but they shot him with a rocket launcher, and that didn't work. So never mind.
Okay. Man, I gotta see this movie now. Like I can't even like picture that.
You go from street racing into one of them where there's a submarine, and he's flying the car over the submarine while it's exploding.
Okay, so I have to ask, since you've seen them all, is it like ridiculous like Sharknado? Is it like that you just sit there and you're like,
I wouldn't go
what the
that far, but you will. Well, actually, no, I'll go that far, but I'll say it's better quality.
okay. It might be a good time. I'll see if I'll probably get around. I mean, they're doing something right? Because like they have
Submarine car explosion.
Okay, there, you sold it. I'm gonna watch it. So they're doing something right, apparently, because I mean, all these movies, right? And they also have animated TV series
Right.
as well. Toys, video game. The video games got to be like crazy good because if it's anything, if you like car video games, racing, things like that,
Hmm.
I can't imagine like how they would do the video games. And they even have theme park attractions, which
Do they?
the, we actually went on one together.
I
So
try
yeah,
not to think about it.
they have theme park attractions. So the we went on together Fast and Furious Supercharged, which is the theme park attraction in Universal Studios Florida, and they have it in Universal Studios Hollywood. They used to have it in Beijing, but they canceled that one. Alex and I went on the one in Universal Studios Florida. Was that your first time going on that ride?
Yes, it was because
Okay.
yeah.
It was mine too. And I had no idea what I was getting into when I went on the ride, but all I know was that the music was awesome. Same music Alex decided to cut off in the beginning of the show. And now I just, why'd you have to do that?
The
It has
music is the
amazing
most
music.
upsetting moment to you in the last 30 seconds. And when we're talking about this ride, which is terribly subtitled,
No,
Supercharged,
Fast and the Furious Supercharged. So
erroneously titled Supercharged.
all right. So if Fast and the Furious Supercharged, the attraction in Universal Studios Hollywood, is part of the studio tour,
Hmm.
which, okay, I feel like everything they took away from us, and yes, I'm saying away from us because Universal Studios Florida is like that's the park I grew up with when it first opened. And all I feel like a lot of the original attractions that they removed from Universal Studios Florida are in the studios tour in Universal
Yeah,
Studios Hollywood
yeah.
because they have Jaws, they have now the Fast and Furious Supercharge is part of that ride as well. They have the Bates Motel. So a lot of things that they took out of Universal Studios Florida, they're still in Hollywood.
Yeah.
It's crazy. It's almost as if they want you to travel across the country to visit these other
No,
attractions.
that's not how corporations work.
Think I'm on to you, Universal Studios. I think I know what you're doing there. So it's part of the studios tour. The one in Universal Studios Florida is a standalone attraction, and it's
Hmm.
only standalone because they had the building. They had the building there already. So if you want to go a little bit backwards, before Fast and Furious Supercharged, it was Disaster, not a
It
disaster.
was two things: Beetlejuice and Disaster. They took that
Wait.
entire block.
Oh, okay. So Beetlejuice wasn't part of the actual ride building. They just wanted that property to kind of expand it out, right?
Hmm.
Like, isn't that part of the queue?
Yeah, Beetlejuice is the entrance to Q, and then the ride continues all the
Right.
way to Earthquake slash Disaster.
Right. So Beetlejuice is gone. They expanded out. And then that was absorbed by Fast and Furious Supercharged right now. Before that, it was Disaster, which was Earthquake, the big one. So
That's
it,
what it should have been. If they were going to take that spot, they should have melded the titles together. Fast and Furious, Disaster. That would have been great.
that's a shame. What's funny is in Disaster, The Rock was in that attraction,
Mm.
and then he made it to Fast and Furious Supercharged as well. So it's like he ain't go nowhere.
Yeah,
He's like, you're not evicting me. I'm still here.
the Rock
But
Block.
yeah, what did you say? Rock block?
The Rock Block. The whole block is his. The Rock Block.
Oh, the rock block. That's funny.
It is.
So yeah, I don't know. It stinks because I loved Earthquake, the big one. We
Hmm.
have not discussed that soundstage on the show as of yet,
Hmm.
but that was my favorite part of that ride building.
Yeah.
Wasn't too crazy about Disaster. I
Hmm.
loved Earthquake. We
Yeah.
went on that one together too,
Yeah.
right when it was open. I think it was Disaster, didn't we? I
We
remember
we
seeing.
must have. We must have.
I remember seeing The Rock. I'm not sure if we went on it together. I know we've done Earthquake because every time we went on Earthquake, tell us about the boulders, Alex. Go ahead. Now is your time. You have the floor. Tell
No,
us,
I don't. I
please.
don't want to talk about it now.
Tell us about the
No,
boulders because
no,
every time we went on this ride, we had to hear the same
no,
story every single
no,
time.
no,
Do it
no,
because now they're going to wonder about the
no,
boulders and Earthquake.
no. You're being a jerk about it, so I'm not going to talk about it.
All right. So, anyway,
So I worked in costume department at Universal Studios, right? And then they had me in charge of building all the little crumbling rocks made out of foam that fell on the tourists during their little green screen theater at the queue. Well, not in the queue, but after the queue of the ride. So I made those are mine. Every single one that you stole that I had to keep making, thanks because you paid my paychecks.
so yeah, he hasn't had to say that story in a very, very long time because since they removed that ride and put Fast and the Furious Supercharged, he has had not had the chance to boast about these boulders in the ride. So
But
thank you,
I
Alex, for
do
your
go in.
contribution to that attraction.
I do go in and say, while I'm looking at Diesel, right over there is where they used to have my rocks and hanging up from the ceiling, and then people would pull the rope. And
And nobody else will listen to him, so he just has
I have to
to
talk to that wax
he has to
figure.
keep the story living somehow.
That wax figure listens to me.
Oh gosh. But so that is the attraction. That is the current Fast and Furious franchise attractions in the Universal parks. And so here we go talking about the rumored attraction. There are public documents that were disclosed about the roller coaster and saying that it was going to be the movie's franchise was going to be the whole concept of the roller coaster. Um, so what do we know about this? We don't know very much because it's still rumored. There's nothing set in stone, but Universal Studios Hollywood. So they have two levels because of how California is set up. There's
Yeah.
mountains, hills, stuff like that. So basically the top of the roller coaster will start at the top lot and then it will go down to the lower lot. It's going to circle around the escalator. It's going to be really, really cool, like that. So that's what we know. That's how they're going to build it,
Really?
and that it sounds really, really cool. So the riders are going to take part of an intense high-speed pursuit with speeds reaching up to 120 miles per hour. That's very, very fast.
Mm-hmm.
Riders are going to be thrown in the world of fast cars and crime gangs. Are you laughing? What's so funny?
It's just going to be a roller coaster.
No, you get to see the life of crime gangs and you get to be immersed in the
How do
world
you
of
say
fast cars
things?
and
How do you
racing
say these things with a straight face? How do you do that?
because I am the demographic. So I kind of know how to sell it
But
too.
you also know it's just a roller coaster with a theme on it.
No.
I could take Guardians of the Galaxy and theme it Fast and Furious. It's the same thing.
Anyway, so the coaster said to have cutting edge special effects and HD images on the largest 360-degree display. Um, how do you think that is going to go? A 360-degree display with a roller coaster
I
attraction?
have no idea unless it's like the tour where at some moment you come into the screen and you hold, or you're going in circles around it, or it's just a ginormous 1 mile wide screen. I mean, it's either they're spinning around in it, kind of like
Cosmic Rewind,
I
like
was
if
gonna
it's
say,
indoors at some point?
well, I was gonna say Space Mountain, like
Oh,
Space Mountain is pretty much a
okay.
circle, or you hold, you go in, you hold for a second or two, or it slows down a little bit.
That's interesting. I am out of my roller coaster, thrilling ride attraction age. I'm not crazy about it anymore. I can't do it like I used to, but at this point, I just ride things for research purposes. A
Yeah,
lot of it is a one and done for me,
yeah.
but that seems very interesting, and I'd be interested to see how they're going to do that.
I mean,
Um,
it also comes to mind the supercharge itself, the ride where your tram is moving forward,
right.
and you feel that, but suddenly they kind of combine the video screen with the car, and the car stops and the video screens go, so you still
Yeah.
feel like you're going forward. So they might do
Like kind of
something
like
like that.
Reign of Kong
Yeah,
in
also.
Islands. Like it's the same kind of
Yeah,
thing.
maybe.
That's weird. I'd be interested to see how they're going to do that. So that sounds really cool. And so that's pretty much all we really know about this rumored attraction. And so let's all tie it up in a little bow and do a recap.
And now, for you our viewers, we recap the show.
So with the last 11 movies, toys, video games, theme park attractions, the Fast and Furious franchise, it's doing very well for itself.
You know why
So
it does so well?
Why is it
I don't
doing
have
well?
friends.
The
I got
Rock.
family.
Oh. Why? Why do you have to cut it off? Okay. Family is the reason why it does so well. So well that there's another movie coming out this spring. And I don't know. I'll probably see that one. I saw the trailer for it
Yeah.
and I was laughing.
You're not supposed to, but okay.
I was laughing, but at the same point, I was like, "This looks really cool, and it looks like a good time." And I actually kind of want to watch that one. So that one comes out in theaters this spring. And as far as the attractions go, Universal Studios Hollywood has Fast and Furious Supercharged, and it now the rumored roller coaster attraction to be based off of the franchise as well. And Universal Studios Florida, wait, Universal Destinations and Experiences currently has Fast and Furious Supercharged as well if you want to get your Fast and Furious fix. So with the new roller coaster rumored to be based off of the franchise, you can truly immerse yourself in the high speed pursuits and be part of
I don't have friends. I got family.
be part of the family. So I don't know. I would write it for research purposes, like I do other things. If it's a one and done, it's because I can't handle roller coasters like I used to anymore. But from what has been leaked, and released to the public, it does sound like it's going to have some pretty cool special effects and details. And
I will say this: Universal has been killing it.
Yeah, they're doing a great job. They're really stepping up their game. They no longer want to take a back seat to their competition, and they're actually doing a really good job. And for me to say that, it's a big deal.
Yeah.
So we want to know what you guys think. I know that I would write it to see, how they do it with all the special effects and everything like that for
And
research.
I will also write it
Because
on
I would
YouTube.
make him.
No, on YouTube.
I won't be able to get him to California. I could probably get him to do stuff in Florida, but there's no way he's going to West Coast.
I gotta pack. I get up, check in.
It's too much. It's too much already. Just the thought is too much already. So we want to know what you guys think. Will you ride this? Are you interested in Fast and the Furious? Which is your favorite movie? Have you seen all of them? Will you see the one coming in spring? We want to hear from you. And if you like the show, let us know. It helps us grow. Like and subscribe. Thank you so much for watching and joining us. We hope you had fun in this show. It actually, I wasn't thrilled about this one, but it was actually fun. And I think I might watch some movies after doing the show. So it sounds like a good time. I would actually do it if I could get to West Coast. That sounds like it would be pretty cool. So yeah. Thank you so much for joining us today. It was fun. I had fun. I hope Alex had fun. He got to talk about his boulders, so I'm pretty sure it was a good time for him. He has not been able to say that story in such a long time.
Rocks. They weren't boulders.
I've been calling them boulders forever now.
Yeah, I know.
I've never once called them a rock.
Or rubble. It's actually...
So he got to tell his story again, so I'm pretty sure he enjoyed himself. A what?
I'm saying they actually...
Say that again?
It's actually rubble, but instead of rocks or...
It's not there anymore. What's the point of correcting TV. Nobody can go and see it.
Because correction
no
is
longer
correct. And also,
Okay.
it's correct.
Okay, so he got to talk about his boulders. So it was a good show overall. It was a very good show. We'd like to hear from you guys. Thank you so much for joining us. And as always, whatever you do it swell.
And
I don't have friends. I got family.
You can connect with that Really Swell podcast by leaving a comment here on YouTube, or you can find us on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. And if you want to listen to us, you can find us on most streaming music apps.